Hey everyone, welcome to Animated Girl Profiles Confidential, episode 42. As you see, we are I'm talking about Tiny Toons' own Fifi La Fume. That's right, Fifi La Fume, who was a Tiny Toons equivalent, basically a character-based, the female equivalent of Pepe Le Pew, of Looney Tunes' Pepe Le Pew. And just like Pepe, Fifi took on the attributes of any time she saw somebody, whether it was someone like Furball or Calamity, she would basically, if she saw a white stripe down the back, she would mistakenly take them, or she would mistakenly take them for a male skunk. Now, what was unique, though, and different about this one, about Fifi's take on this whole situation, is when she would basically lose said boy skunk, she would kind of cry a little bit and cheer up, and guys like Furball and Calamity would feel a little sorry for her until they kind of found a way that, hey, until they came up with an idea to kind of make her feel better. Now, the one thing about Fifi in Tiny Toon Adventures, though, is she did have a constant love interest, kind of an on and off love interest, if you will, in Hampton J. Pig. That's right, Hampton Pig, who was the Tiny Toons equivalent of Porky, was basically the love interest of Fifi, and this was kind of indicated in the episode Promise Her Anything. So that basically is where that relationship started, and any time you had a group pairing of all 6 main Tiny Toon characters, she would always be paired up with Hampton in some way. And what I mean by main 6 characters is you had Buster and Babs opposing, kind of Buster, and along with Buster you had Babs, Plucky, who was the Tiny Toon equivalent to Daffy, and then you had Shirley, which many consider the equivalent to Melissa Duck, and then you had Hampton and Fifi, were the two who kind of stood out a little bit because some can say Fifi was like an equivalent, like I said, the female equivalent to Pepe, but also it's kind of like a female equivalent to Penelope. So, yeah, you had those 3 as the main 3. And they would always be together every now and then. Now, Fifi did have some starring roles in episodes. She was sort of she was basically a major factor in the episode Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow. She was part of Spring Break, one of the last Tiny Toon specials, which was the Spring Break special. She was part of the episode Horror Slumber Party Mountain. So she had her fair share of episodes and cameos throughout. In fact, she was even joked about in the Halloween special that they did. The Tiny Toons Halloween special was joked about by a fan of whether or not she would get her own series, which was kind of cool. She had her own 2-part segment in an episode of Tiny Toons called The Undersea World of Fifi. She cameoed briefly in Animaniacs in the cartoon short Survey Ladies, and she just made her rounds here and there. The one thing about Fifi, though, unlike, let's say, someone like Babs or anything, and even Shirley, Shirley even did like a little wormy thing when she got squashed by something. She, along with Plucky and all them, would worm out and reform. She never did any of that as far as I know. Even when Johnny Pugh, when she had her own segment, she had her own little segments in the How I Spent My Vacation movie, never once did she kind of worm around or anything. Yeah, she had a wild outtake and all that, but she didn't do any like worm out and something and reform. And I think that's what Fifi was played as, sort of the flirtatious straight girl. Like, she could do her wild takes, but she wouldn't do anything beyond that. She never did she got flattened a few times and all that, but never to the point where, she, like I said, she would turn into like a little purple worm and then pop up like they did in that parody of the Oklahoma musical called Ducklahoma. So, she never did that. She never even melted, which was kind of weird. You have a character like Fifi La Fume and you never have her do the lustful milk egg where she melts into a puddle. Either her eyes and face are remaining on the puddle or she's just completely melted. They never did that. But overall, Fifi was, like I said, the flirtatious straight woman, I think, in Tiny Toons. So, I wish they would have done more with her, and maybe they did in comics and in fan fiction, but they never did. And anything, but they didn't go beyond that, like I said, with the cartoon series. So that was kind of disappointing. But she did have her moments, and she became a very popular character, surprisingly. She had her shorts. She was paired up with Hampton, of course. She had her own segments beyond that. Where she would, like the Undersea World of Fifi. She was in segments with Babs and Shirley, like the very popular Amazing Three. There's the one episode where Babs makes fun of everybody and then gets a comeuppance in the end. So, she's had her moments. She's had, the spotlight on her, and I think it's because of that she's become a very popular character with fans. And if they ever do decide to bring Tiny Toons back in the future in some form or shape or capacity, I'd say do it. I'd say put the focus on her and put it on her in a big way, because she sporadically, definitely impactful, definitely made an impact. I mean, again, I think it's because of that sporadic cameo co-starring roles that she had on occasions that she has developed the fan base that she has. And of course, she was voiced by Kat Sushi, who everybody knows was the voice of Sally in Sonic Sat AM. So you can't get any more better than that. But hopefully someday if Tiny Toons does get revamped or something like that, they give her more of a role than they did here. But I mean, heck, they even parodied her. Heck, they even made her be a parody of Zatanna, where she was known as something like Sintana or something like that, or Santana. Where she's basically she zaps you with her tail, you get petrified or something. So I don't know, but anyway, again, like she had a cameo, some moments, like they did a black and white parody in an episode, kind of silent cartoon wise, and she made an appearance in that. So she's had her moments, and people have I think have gone, and I think it's because of those moments, the sporadic appearances and co-starring roles and minor roles and shorts that she's had on her own and segments. I think this is why a lot of people have loved Fifi, and why she's become a very popular character. And like I said, if Tiny Toons ever gets a reboot or retcon or whatever you want to call it, retcon or whatever, that if she's brought back as part of that, which I think she would be, that she should be made, and she should be given a bigger role than what she has. So let me know what you guys think down below, though, and that is going to do it for the 42nd edition